Good morning, students. Welcome back. So, today we will be starting with the next chapter, and we've picked out the first chapter of civics. It is diversity in India. Okay, so we'll begin now, right? Now, kids, we're all similar in some ways and very different from each other in some, right? So, when I say we're similar, in what ways do you think we can be similar? So, we're all humans, we're all living in India. We're all currently, all of us are going to JKG International School, right? So there are a lot of similarities, yes. But at the same time, students, all of us are very different from each other as well, in terms of age, in terms of physical abilities. You are more agile than I am, in terms of gender differences, different religions, beliefs, languages that we speak, right? So all of these differences, students, they make us very distinct and unique. Yes. So now this distinctiveness and this uniqueness is what makes us very diverse. And so diversity, students, is basically the state or fact of being very different and unique, right? So the state or fact of being different and unique is known as diversity, right? So another way of putting the same thing is that the range of many people or things very different from each other is also known as diversity. So it's the same definition for diversity, just said in two different ways, right? But remember this, students. So what is diversity? The state or fact of being different and unique. Okay. So different and unique are very two prominent terms that you should remember. Right. Now, students will move on to the next part. In fact, going on to the first thing that I said, similarities and differences. Right. Now, students, differences help us to learn, while similarities help us to share. This is a very important thing that I've just said. And I want you to think back on what I've just said. Differences help us to learn. Right. Now, I want you all to individually think about how you are very different from your friends, right? And what have you learned from them? Like every day I learn something new from you all. When I take a class, I learn something new from all of you individually. At the same time, I share something with you as well, right? So think about the differences that you have, things that you have learned from your friends, from people around you, not necessarily your friends, from people around you, from your neighbors, right? And they are so different from you. Yes. At the same time, there are similarities also, and those similarities help us to share. Yes. So you might share something with your classmates. What is it that makes you share? The fact that you're friends because you are similar in some ways. Right? So therefore, students, differences and similarities bring very interesting variety to our life. Right? And this diversity is the nature's way of grooming us to learn, to adjust, to coexist, right? So everyone around you is so different, so different. They come from very different families, but you learn to adjust, to coexist with them. Yes? Right. Now, reasons behind diversity. Why is India diverse? Now, students, till now I was asking you to think at diversity, to look at diversity from your own perspective. But now we're looking at the bigger picture. Firstly, I would like to ask you that is India a diverse country? Right? And if India is a diverse country, what makes us so diverse? So the answer is, students, that India is a very, very diverse country. Right? And the reasons behind this diversity is the geography of our country. So when I say geography, students, geography, what I mean is the physical, the physical features of India, right? So imagine Jammu and Kashmir in the north, you have Kerala in the south, you have what do you call it? In the west you have Rajasthan, in the east you have Nagaland. Now all of these state students are very different. They're very different in terms of the physical features of people, the people that live there, the kind of livelihood practices that they have, the food they eat, the clothes they wear. Everything is so different, right? Yes, but they're all Indians. So geography impacts and influences and shapes diversity. Similarly, students traveling. So traveling, you learn about new culture and it influences you. So all of you at some point of your life might have traveled outside India or even within India. In fact, if you go from here till Jaipur, you will find that everything. I mean, they have a different culture altogether, right? The people speak a different language. Yeah, and you might find that the taste of food is also so different. And that, so when you come back, students, there is a possibility that you like certain tastes more and you want your mother to cook the same food, right? So you learn, and you learn something so you learn something from the culture there, and you want to replicate the same culture because you liked it. So similarly, students, traveling impacts and influences. It brings in new culture, right? And history as well. So students, throughout history, people from outside, and Indians have also gone outside. So people have from outside have come into the subcontinent, they've settled in, right? For example, Britishers came from Britain, and they brought their own culture with them, and today we are influenced. They came, they settled, right? And we are influenced so much by the Britishers. Yeah. To the extent that everyone now understands and is learning English. In fact, our education system is not ours, it's given by the British. It's the English education system, right? So history, student, history impacts the diversity, right? So does climate. Now, imagine people living in Cherrapunji in Meghalaya, in Mizoram, and people living in, again, Jammu and Kashmir, right? They have such different clothes because Jammu and Kashmir is, it's very cold there, and there would be in Cherrapunji it's very hot and humid. So the kind of clothes they wear, the food that they eat, the dance, the music, everything is very different. So climate impacts diversity, right? But students, I want to come back that in India we have certain differences, and these differences are not good in differences, right? So when I say what, so there are two kinds of differences, students. One is the economic difference and one is the social difference. Now, what is the economic difference? Economic, students has got to do everything with money, right? So the difference on the basis of money or wealth that people have is known as the economic difference, right? Now, students, some people have more money while some have less money, right? And this inequality, yeah, makes some people rich while many more people are poor. What do you think? Are there more rich in the country, or are there more poor people living in the country? Are more people living in big houses and bungalows, or are more people living in slums and villages? Right? So now, why is this bad? This is bad because the poor do not get adequate or equal access to facilities like education, right? Like healthcare. It becomes difficult for them to afford this. Yes. Now, another kind of difference is, students, the social difference. Social has got to do everything with the society, right? Now, two kinds of social evils have existed in the Indian society, which have made our society, given it a very degenerated shape. When I say very degenerated shape, what I mean is that they're evils for our society, for a healthy society. One is caste system. So I don't know if you've heard this or not, but caste system is basically, it is the way in which our ancient Indian society was made. Um, so what used to happen was that people belonging to a certain caste, right? They were treated as untouchables. They were treated as Dalits, right? And so they were given the lowest of the lowest jobs in the society. For example, like cleaning sewage, yes, cleaning people's stool, or cleaning the society, cleaning the village. And they did not have equal access to education. The the people, so a Dalit's child could not go to the same school, could not sit with the student who was a Brahmin son. Yes, and it was expected that a Dalit son would also be a cleaner or a shoe polisher, right? And that is how society was for like hundreds of years. People discriminated against a particular category of people. Yes. Now, students, so this is something, this is a social difference that people created. Now, in fact, sadly, even today, it exists in many parts of our lot of villages, lot of houses. They still practice this caste system. And I don't know if you've ever seen this or not, but a lot of houses, they uh, what they do is that they have different utensils for their for the servants. They do not eat in the same plate as other members of the houses would, because it is believed that they are impure, and they will dirty the other utensils, right? So that is such a negative thing, and it disturbs because it is humiliating that individual just because he or she comes from a caste, right? Caste does not determine the potential of an individual, right? So this is how students' caste system impacted our society, and it is a social evil that we have to fight, right? And so if ever you see something like this in around you, around you, please question them and learn the difference. Learn to, yes, to question the people around, that why are they doing what they're doing, and tell them that it is wrong, right? Another kind of bias is children gender bias. So gender is got to do with the difference between male the the male the girl child and the boy child. So girls are often treated like a burden, right? In our society, girls have been treated like a burden because it is believed that they are supposed to be um yeah, they do not help in earning anything for the house, and they have to be married off later on, so they have to give a lot of dowry for that as well. So the parents have to give dowry, so there is a strong gender bias. There's a preference for a boy child in comparison to a girl child, which is really bad because the society cannot progress without girls. You need girls as much as you need boys, right? So again, students, these are particular some kinds of issues in our that our society is facing, and we need to come and work on them. For now, I will stop at this, but I want you to think about the next topic that we will be taking up, that is unity in diversity. Right? So, do you think diversity is a good thing, or is diversity a bad thing? Yes, I want you to think about this. And tomorrow, in the next tutorial that I take, I will be looking into a couple of case studies, as well as we'll be taking up diversity in greater detail. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, wait for my next tutorial to come. Thank you so much. Bye bye.